Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I would like to welcome you to a live, deep dive spoiler review of Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, which you would know if I had the correct graphic up, but I didn't. So, you see the thumbnail? If you did, you're here, and you note that I have a special guest waiting behind the scenes. We are simulcasting right now on 2 channels and Twitter. So without further ado, I am going to bring on my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, at long last, Sin's Corner, who will hopefully rescue this broadcast from my boomerization of it. Hello, Sin. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am dying slowly inside, and
Uh-oh.
this may very well be my last broadcast. Anyway,
Is it because of Thanksgiving's issues?
no, not all of them, but
Contributed.
Okay, folks. Here's the situation. As some of you know, I have a friend who's moving in with me, and we had to last minute kind of scoot some stuff in here and out. And I of course, just finished a show with Bill, so I'm kind of rushing around trying to get everything done and coordinate everything. And I didn't do a very good job of it there for a few minutes. But
You've been a very busy person today.
I'm a very busy person today, but. We're here. We're ready to go. We have faithful Blue Wrench Connie Cleary in the chat. I'm sure we'll have some other people on the way. We are simulcast both on my channel and Sin's. We are also watching on, is that Rumble or?
Yes, I do have it up on Rumble as well.
Rumble and, of course, Twitter. So we're good to go.
All right.
All right. So Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, a movie 16 years in coming. It was one of the fake trailers during the Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino film Grindhouse.
Yeah, I meant to go back and rewatch that. I had totally forgotten, or did I didn't realize when I watched the movie that was from that. And yeah, I meant to go watch it in preparation and completely forgot. I've been busy this week too, so Thanksgiving, family, all that.
Indeed. And for people who are familiar with that trailer, there are some scenes that did wind up in the final film, and others that didn't, for whatever reason. We didn't get Michael Biehn as the sheriff. We got Patrick Dempsey, but pretty good trade, I think.
Yeah, that would have been cool to see Biehn.
He would have been cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it them's the breaks, and oh well, yeah. But we did get a number of films from the fake trailers and Grindhouse. Machete, obviously being the main one.
Yeah, that's right.
Hobo with a Shotgun came partially from that, and with Rutger Hauer. I don't know if you ever saw that, but
no, I haven't. I don't think I have, but that I definitely recognize that title. If I did, it was a bit ago, and I forgot.
Indeed. And hello, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Thank you for joining us. All right. Well, we should get on with the film. The film starts out again Thanksgiving Eve, 1 year before, where a riot inside of a Right Mart, as they call it in the film.
That's right, Right Mart.
Leads to tragedy, a riot that leads to tragedy, and you got the town 1 year later trying to recover from that, and a serial killer with an axe to grind, so to speak. Literally. Shows up and starts decreasing the citizenry of Plymouth, Massachusetts, one by one.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hello, did you see that?
Yeah, we're talking about Thanksgiving, if you can't tell by the title.
And we will be getting spoilery in the later stages of the review. But right now, uh, we will stick to non-spoiler items. Did you see that? Said I personally really enjoyed this one. Definitely the slasher of the year for me. Um, it does have its good points. I'll give
For
you that.
sure. Yeah.
I think this is Eli Roth's best movie since Cabin Fever for sure.
Okay.
Um, at least for me.
I thought it was
You
really
know,
solid for
it
a
is.
good portion of the
Mm-hmm,
way, well over the halfway mark. And
mm-hmm,
then when it got to the final act was where I had the most issues.
mm-hmm. And there is and I do have some questions too when it comes to the latter portion of the movie.
Mm.
But I tell you, for a good portion of it, it does work. That final destination style kill is awesome. Yeah, I
Which
was
one?
reminded.
Which kill is he referring
Uh,
to?
um,
Because I haven't seen all of Final. I haven't really seen Final Destination. So
there
which
were a
one?
few things in this movie that reminded me of Final Destination,
Okay.
as far as the kills were concerned. Um, it does have a 90s horror movie tone to it throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that definitely reminded me of Final Destination, reminded me of Scream, the better
Definitely reminded
Screams.
me of Scream. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Right.
we're not gonna. I will be discussing the later Scream movies later on tonight.
Okay.
But to say that I have not seen the Scream movies after the first four, and I don't think I'm going to bother. So
That's understandable.
we'll see.
I enjoyed the latter screams, but I like all this, ruckus that's been caused. I don't really care whether another scream comes back or not. I'm not a
No.
diehard fan, and there was a lot of, for me, there were a lot of problems with the last screen, especially, and some problems with the one before that too.
So I really appreciated the opening. It got me
Oh yeah.
invested. It
Mm-hmm.
also kind of showed that some members of the public, causing chaos when things just can't be calm and collected.
Yep.
Yeah, that opening that could almost be a movie in itself.
It was really.
Yeah,
I was wondering
it's pretty
what it was
it's pretty
intense,
hairy.
right? Yeah, and
Yeah.
the opening to my review was that something along the lines of that. I wished I could say that Black Friday / Thanksgiving Day, you know the sale, the events of the sale were that it was hyperbolic, but not really,
Mm-hmm.
because we've heard stories of people that have been crushed or killed in these stupid things. So yeah, it was. I was just yeah, I was very captivated by what it was showing happening on the screen, and just wondering how this is going to tie in
Mm-hmm.
to what I knew was supposed to be the point of it, that there was this slasher, and then obviously that it becomes clear to us.
Right. Uh, that it is an effective opening, but there is one point where Roth does repeat himself, um, and I'm
In the
talking
opening
about the partial. I'll just say it: the partial scalping.
with the scalp.
Yeah.
Repeat himself
He
how? Is that something
he
from Cabin
he
Fever?
did he did that in the remake of Piranha, where there's something
Oh,
similar
okay.
that
Okay. It's
happens.
been a long time
Yeah.
since I saw that. Okay.
It's not. It's far more graphic in Piranha, but
Okay.
yeah, where he not only does the scalp go, but pretty much all the skin goes too. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah. But of course, Piranha is a far more graphic film, and I don't
Yes,
think
I had
he
forgotten.
didn't. Well, he didn't direct that. He's in it, and I think he might have
Oh, he did
produced
not
it, but he
direct
didn't
that.
direct it. He did not direct
Okay.
it. But
Okay, because I
there
was
was a
going to say,
similar
I guess I
gag. I
forgot.
was just about to
Okay.
say, wait, he didn't
Well,
direct that, did he? But he is
scalping
in it.
scenes, they
So
happen. I
yeah.
mean, it was in Blood Tomahawk, for goodness sakes, right
Oh
before
yeah.
that scene.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
And yeah, Blood Tomahawk is a very good one, but
A
it's very
Bone
gnarly.
Tomahawk. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
got the stupid name. You knew what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
scene. I can't get
Um,
that scene out of my brain. Um,
and there's and Jedi Bill and I actually watched that for Western Cinema Sunday, and it had been pretty much the first viewing for both of us.
Oh.
So much of the commentary of that film is the two of us going, "Oh, whoa, no, why are you doing this?" You know,
it's terrible. It was so brutal, and I cannot get it out of my brain because that I've seen so many like really gnarly scenes. That one scene bothered me probably the most out of anything I've ever seen. It really disturbed my stomach. And it just, because it was so freaking effective, because there was all this stuff that happened to that poor guy before they got to that part where he was cleaved, you know? Oh, the scalp, the thing in the mouth, the cutting off of other part. Oh, it was just, oh my gosh. And they were just so blasé about it because, like someone pointed out to me before, he was just food to them.
Yeah.
So what? He's just like a cow they were butchering, just like, oh my gosh. Anyway, okay, sorry for that tangent, but it's recent in my brain again because my brother was watching it. Okay. The scalping in Thanksgiving was tame compared to that.
Yeah, but when this movie goes there, it does go there. But thinking back on it, it's certainly not as graphic as Piranha was or Bone Tomahawk. And it's not like Hostel level either, really. This is not like a torture porn film at all. This is just like your normal it's kind of your normal style 80s 90s slasher.
Yep.
And it's definitely very much in that vein. So let me see. I was trying to remember who wound up being. Okay, let's just start at the beginning. Okay, we have the we have the riot sequence, which is probably like the opening 10-15 minutes of the movie. We get introduced to our core group of characters. One of whom gets pretty severely injured himself during the course of the riot, and that kind of figures into things too.
Gnarly
that was nasty.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Hey Josh, how you doing?
And hello to Through the Lens. Good to see you. And also Dulcimerist.
Practical effects. Yeah, the movie. Yeah, there was also something else. I don't know if it was CGI'd or if it was just a practical. That's the one thing I remember from the new Piranha. This is the one with the O'Connell guy in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's the one scene. The one thing. Remember? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that one.
No, we're not talking about the 1978 Piranha.
No, the 1978 Piranha has no CGI. No, none.
But I can tell where he goes, so spoilers don't fail. Okay. Okay. I'm curious to find out, Josh, how accurate your predictions are, or your predictions will be.
Right.
As the discussion goes on.
And mine was semi-correct, but we're going to get to that because I know that there's going to be a bone of contention that I think we both have with this movie.
Yep.
But I think we're going to. Well, we'll just wait until we get there and I'll see what you say, and then because I think I know where we're both going to have the issue. But I think that maybe we might be approaching it from two different directions. So we'll see.
Okay.
All right. So we have the opening riot sequence. We get introduced to the characters. We lose a pretty big name pretty quickly in this movie.
Yes.
We do. And that's the one that tells you, okay, nobody is safe. Nobody is safe in this thing. Which is good. So, okay. Well, we will be getting.
I want to respond to that so badly.
Okay.
Okay. If you want us to wait, we'll wait till we get there.
We'll wait. And but yeah. Anyway, it's a year later. The town is still trying to kind of claw its way back and from tragedy. And they do. I tell you this, comparing Thanksgiving to another movie, they certainly do it way better than It's a Wonderful Knife did.
Agreed.
Yeah, where it's kind of
agree.
It's kind of they're kind of similarly structured in the beginning of both of those movies, where you have this opening 15 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is kind of the aftermath of that and dealing with the slasher and all that.
All the stuff.
It kind of is structured kind of similar in a lot of ways. This movie just does it so much better, and
it does.
What is the state of Hollywood today when, I have to say, Eli Roth of all people figured out story structure. I think Tarantino is starting to rub off on him finally.
Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. But yeah, so we see where everybody is wound up a year later, and then you have these murders that start to happen. People who the killer feel was responsible for the riot, these people start dying in various gruesome ways, and it becomes something of a kind of a Scream style whodunit.
Yeah, it becomes like a mystery-ish sort of thing, slasher mystery, which I really like. I like those types of whodunits. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the main storyline. We have our young protagonist, who is the daughter of the guy who runs the Right Mart, runs the store, and we have her ex-boyfriend, her would-be new boyfriend, and their little group of pals who are kind of the soon-to-be offies.
Well, also, I think she carries a bit of guilt with her because
she does.
She and her friends, they got in through the back door, and the crowd saw that they were getting in meanwhile all the shoppers are out there waiting, and that's kind of the whole reason for this riot. One of the guys that's her in her friend group does stuff to agitate the crowd from inside the store, and so that
we also have the character from outside of the store, and these two have already had a previous run in as well, so that's kind of fueling things. It's then that kind of reminded me of Free Fire in a way, because the events of that movie kind of jump off because two characters from opposite sides, from the two opposite teams in that movie, have had a prior incident, and that kind of fuels what happens there. Anyway, again, I'm bringing up other movies, but
it's easy to do.
Which is kind of easy to do at this thing, to be honest.
Especially in movie discussions. I mean, that's kind of the nature of these things.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. I don't want to ignore the chat here. Eli Roth movies don't exactly bode well with me, but I've heard this one isn't bad. It's not. This is, like I said, I think it's his best one in a while. I think it's his best movie, period. But it's definitely his best one in a while. And it's definitely the one that I think has a rewatchability that the other ones don't have.
I definitely want to see it again. I unfortunately did not get the chance to. I was hoping to be able to do that while my nephew was in town, but he wasn't interested in this one for whatever reason. So I didn't see it twice.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it a second time either.
But you're more recent. It's really fresh with you.
It seems like a Gen Z take on a holiday slasher.
Bodies.
I think that was It's a Wonderful Knife.
Yeah, could be. Really, that movie.
To be honest, yeah. We could almost do an entire show on how horrible that thing is.
God. There were so many people that walked out of that theater when it was playing on Mystery Movie Monday night.
Through the Lens says, I saw Addison Rae on the poster and ran away immediately. She is one of those whose name keeps... Right? She was not the main girl. She was...
who was she?
She was Gabrielle, the one who gets kidnapped later on. That has like the frat boyfriend.
Oh, in the school they get kidnapped.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she's one whose name keeps getting popped up. This is the first time I'd actually seen her in anything.
Same, because I didn't recognize a lot of the main actors in here.
No, I
did, obviously, but
I didn't know a lot of them either.
I think I recognized the ex-boyfriend, but I don't know. I might be misremembering.
He does look vaguely familiar. I'm still trying to figure out where I've seen him before.
Yeah,
he does look familiar.
Same. I need to look him up.
Yeah, I need to, yeah. But Addison Rae, this is what I'd heard her name before. This was my first time seeing her in anything. I didn't mind her. I thought she was fine.
Yeah, she was okay. Well,
yeah,
those characters, they were okay, but as I mentioned in my review, they actually seemed fairly generic, and I didn't get overly attached to any of them. They just seemed kind of meh. Oh, I wish I could have liked Bodies, Josh, but unfortunately all the characters are so unlikable, even though I really appreciated that it was going for the jugular and a very heavy satire on just the idiocy of a lot of people and a lot of people that are obsessed with social media presence and all that. And I like that it was making those points, but all the characters, I couldn't stand them except for one person, and then they died. And so I just, unfortunately, that affected my ability to enjoy the film.
Yeah, I skipped that one myself. And welcome, the writers and editors of Napoleon should be sacked. Oh no, I haven't seen Napoleon yet. Don't.
I put Free Fire in my watch list on Letterboxd.
I said Free Fire was really fun. It is. I like that movie a lot because it's got a lot of my sense of humor in it. But I understand that there are a couple of cast members of that film that YouTube is not a fan of.
Oh, really?
But I do like that movie quite a bit.
Oh no, there's a character in there, definitely. She's like the first one. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I might sit this one out. I dislike this particular actor so much that I really don't care to watch anything that she's in.
Dulcimeris says, UA Bowl movies are the ones that I always have to use caution with. Yeah.
Oh.
He's done a couple of good ones, though. I think Rampage is good for what it is.
Yes.
I actually I like the first In the Name of the King, though. I have fun with that one. I get that it's dumb and it's basically a rip-off of Lord of the Rings, but it's fun. So Thanksgiving has an excellent opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I watched, I realized the plot line was god-awful. Zero build-up, and the reveal was an absolute joke. Well, we're going to be getting to the reveal here before too long.
Yeah.
Because we definitely have a question or two there. The Lens, I like Bodies. I think it's fun. I avoided it because the trailer just didn't do anything for me. And
writers said Bodies characters were so unlikable it was a rough watch at times. Yeah, that's true. I better go as I need to finish writing a review. Okay, thanks for stopping by, Josh. I look forward to your review.
Thank you. All right, let me finish scrolling back down. Bree and Armie Hammer, yes.
I didn't even notice Armie's name. I just saw Bree, and I was like, okay, I'm out.
Watch it for Cillian Murphy then.
But doggone, I just saw his name too, and then you said it. Doggone it. I don't know. I love Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. Dulcimer says, I loved In the Name of the King a lot. Blubberella is the bowl movie I'm embarrassed that I like.
He told me about Blubberella, I remember.
I shut that off after a few minutes. I'm like, when she opens up the back door and the meat locker is back there, I went, no, thank you.
Oh gosh.
No, I'm not doing this one. And welcome, Brother Toast. All right. Okay, so year later, slasher on. Okay. Okay, so where do you want to start with the first
the
opening?
first kill, or just the first what?
Yeah, the
I
first
like
what? What am I talking about?
I like the first kill.
Yeah. The first kill's pretty.
That was really I like the lead up to it, because when it
Yeah.
showed her, I was thinking to myself. So she was a lady working at the diner. I was thinking to myself, is that the chick that was at the outside this? Because sometimes I misremember faces, and I was like, she really looks like one of the girls that was out there being such an asshole right before the riot. And sure enough, it was. And that scene where she got thrown against the freezer door
Yeah.
and her face stuck and her hand stuck, and I was like, oh, I could feel the pain of that.
Yeah.
And I liked also that she put up a decent enough fight. It wasn't just an instantaneous kill, and she almost kind of got away. And then the dumpster lid.
Yeah.
It was so horrific, I actually laughed.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing to remember that I did like, is that nobody in this movie, nobody is OP in this movie. It's the killer is not a superhuman being.
Right.
They can be. This isn't Michael Myers. They're not a force of nature. They're not a deadite. They, anybody can be stopped by all of the normal things that will stop you. If you hit the killer in the head in this movie over the head with a baseball bat, they're going to go down. Because this person is indeed very human. So that's one thing. And and a phone swipe, that was funny, to be fair.
I forgot the phone swipe. I forgot that. Oh, I'm drawing a blank.
I'm blanking on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you can fill us in. I forgot. Was this part of the first kill? What happened with the phone? What was going on? There was something going on with the phone. Yeah, I'm completely blanking out.
Well, there is a point in the movie where the killer does manipulate cell phones and leads people to
the blood on the phone. That I know exactly.
Okay,
that
because
was funny.
The fingers
yeah. The blood was all over the screen, and her face was all messed up too.
Oh,
and that's why I couldn't recognize her face, because like half her face was ripped off practically. And yeah, there were people that laughed at that scene. Oh, thank you.
And hello, Real Shift.
Thank you so much. You know what? We need to do like a discussion sometime, honestly. I don't know if you have guests on your channel or if you'd be willing to come on and have a discussion, but we need to
we
kind of run in the same circle, this guy, and so yeah. That would be nice sometime. Is that in contrast to in the head? Oh, yeah. Home Alone is cartoony.
Yeah, Home Alone's a Looney Tunes cartoon. It's Sylvester and Tweety. It's Roadrunner and the Coyote. And
it's very slapsticky. Not my favorite sort of.
There's a couple of. There's a couple of points in this movie where it's slapsticky, but people just don't recover from it right away.
Right. Like, oh, yeah, exactly. No.
I'll be right with you. I'm going to try and get this toaster oven out of there as I'm bleeding out. Yeah. Which is something that happens in this movie.
Oh,
I can make it. He just doesn't. It's that Eli Roth sense of humor that is in this movie, folks. Not to the point that it, because Eli Roth for me has the tendency to be like the horror version of Taika Waititi sometimes with the humor, and it'll take me out of it.
Yeah, it didn't come across as too ridiculous to me though.
No, not in this one. One time I hit myself with a baseball bat. I can confirm it hurts.
I can imagine.
We can definitely collaborate sometime. Yeah, we have to get together on that. Sure. All right. Dulcimer awesome. Says Violent Night had some Home Alone in it, but one of those things actually killed a bad guy. Yeah. And the way the lead villain goes out in that one is pretty inventive too.
It's been forever since I've seen that movie. Yeah, and I've only seen it once.
Going up the chimney and going up the chimney.
Okay.
And all that apparently entails when you're dealing with a 1,000-year-old dead Viking who is now Santa.
This is part of Home Alone?
And also, no, Violent Night.
Oh, Violent Night. Oh my gosh. Jeez, crap. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just only saw the Home Alone, and I was thinking he said that Thanksgiving had some Home Alone. It was like, whew, you would think that I can't read. Yeah, Violent Night did. That was fun, but that wasn't as fun as I
was hoping.
Wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't quite land as well.
It's still worth a watch, though.
It was definitely worth a watch for David Harbour. For his performance.
I thought that was like a solid rental or matinee. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, if there, and they finally came out with a 4K months later. Okay. They finally did a 4K for it, and you know, if the 4K is like $10 or under, I'll probably pick it up.
Oh. See, yeah. I don't have a 4K TV, so that means nothing to me at all.
Oh, neither do I. But you know, you can still. Because it
has a Blu-ray with it usually, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can still watch. If you have a 4K player, it works just as well with a non-4K TV.
I don't have a 4K player or a 4K TV. So I don't care. I only just now started buying mostly Blu-rays instead of regular DVDs. Yeah, I'm a little behind on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Not only just now as in like this year, but it's been more recent because before I would just go for the DVD. But now the DVDs are a lot of times more expensive than the Blu-ray, and they're just not even offered in a lot of other times.
And pretty soon, you know, we're going to be without Blu-ray and 4K in stores. So
that's not cool.
But that's a whole other. That's a whole other video.
I will continue to buy physical just because it comes in handy when the internet goes down as well. So. I really like Violent Night. John Leguizamo. He was pretty funny. David Harbour was actually excellent. I did a pretty in-depth-ish review of this with my audiobook, with the audiobook company that I work with on their channel, and I'm probably going to repurpose it and put it up for sometime in December. That was last year that we did this review. So yeah, he definitely did. He was worth. That film was worth it for him alone. I really love the way he played that character. Yeah, for sure.
And my review was up on my channel as well. It's back when I was still doing shorts, so it's a short one.
Oh, you did a short one, okay.
So go and check it out. I have a movie review 2022 playlist up on my channel. So if anybody wants to go back and check out. The early stages of my channel when I was still doing only shorts, you can go and check that out.
Shorts are such a pain. I know they're supposed to be good, but they're supposed to be good for your channel, but they are such a whatever.
Yeah. Keep doing interesting videos like this. Have a good night, you too. Thank you.
You too.
All right, so we've had the first kill. The whole dumpster situation, and then where one half of that body ends up, and where the other half ends up.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That was definitely quite the calling card.
For sure. And you know, honestly, I've gone and forgotten the second kill. I don't even remember the second kill.
Oh, what was the second one?
I'd see. And you just recently saw it. See, that's how it just didn't stay with me. That first kill did for sure.
There are parts that I'm blanking out on, and most that I do remember.
If anybody in the audience remembers, doggone.
Who is between the dumpster and the gymnasium? help us out.
That's really frustrating.
It is.
Wow, I can't believe I'm totally blanking on that. I'm just trying to think of like where bodies were found, and
Right.
that's not coming to me. Gymnasium was not the when the cat gives his. Oh yeah, the guy, the guy with the cat.
Oh, right, the guard, Tim Dillon. Yeah.
Okay,
The comedian
wow.
Tim Dillon, who I'm sure most of you might know from his appearances on Joe Rogan. He's in this movie.
I
And
recognized his face, but did not know
yeah,
where I'd seen him.
he plays a security guard on the night of the night of the riot. There are only two security guards. One of them gets trampled to death, and one of them runs
Right.
away. And that fellow who runs away, he
He is targeted for termination.
targeted for domination, and gets terminated. Yeah,
It
and
definitely
this
does.
and basically winds up with his head on the table for the rest of the film
That's right.
because
And the killer loves cats because the killer went and gave the cat some food,
he did,
made sure it wouldn't go hungry and
which
thirsty.
was an interesting quirk. Yeah,
Yeah, I had a feeling that was
and
gonna happen though.
that cat was pretty much a dirty, rotten stool pigeon.
The
We
way
don't
that
like
cat was
that
just
cat.
sitting on the counter, just sitting
Just,
on the counter. The
I'm
look
not
on
doing
his
shit.
face.
You're alone in this, pal. you know,
Right?
you know. Um,
Just give me my damn food.
yeah. So, all right. So the killer is wearing a mask of actually a true life person.
Mm-hmm.
John Carver is a real person who was involved in the first Thanksgiving and was one of the founders of Plymouth. And so there is some historically accurate stuff in this. The John Carver character is not someone who was just made up for the film, actual person. And the killer and really everybody kind of has a John Carver mask, which kind of makes it a bit of a camouflage situation because you're
Right.
dealing with somebody who is wearing this mask and
Right.
everybody is wearing it. Is very early established early on.
Very similar
So
to Happy Death Day when a lot of people
yeah,
were wearing those masks.
so everybody is a suspect, and
Yep.
that's where the Scream inspired portion of the film kicks in, the whole mystery of it, and up to a point, that mystery works.
Yes.
It really does track. Again, okay, that just made this person a suspect,
Mm-hmm. Well,
or this person is cleared now, maybe.
some of the red herrings were a little bit too obvious. The focus on the
um,
ex-boyfriend and the new boyfriend, that was a bit. So I knew automatically it wasn't going to be either one of them
mm-hmm.
because they were trying really hard to make you think it was one of them.
Yeah,
But I did
and
like the whole
mm-hmm.
mystery. And I was trying to guess. Obviously, this is what I do. Okay, who is it? Who's behind? Well, it can't be so and so because they're right there, um, right before this is happening. And then this stuff happens. And
Mm-hmm.
so it can't be this person. And then when the reveal happens, it's like, wait a second. Wait a minute. Okay, we'll get into
Mm-hmm.
that when we get to that
we're
part.
we're we're working up to it. Um, but yeah, okay. So the 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 John Carver killer. Um, basically there is a basement to the Carver home. That is this kind of historical landmark that's been preserved. So
Is that a real place, I wonder?
um,
Or
could
is it
be.
just something that they made for the movie? I mean, I just wonder
Um,
if there's actually really
I
a John Carver home and a location like on
I assume there
exhibit
could
or
be.
display.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would make sense anyway. Um, but anyway, and this is where the movie starts referencing like April Fool's Day and Happy Birthday to Me and movies like that, where you have the killer setting bodies up around,
Mm,
or in the case also of this movie, parts of bodies
right.
um, around a table, And I got to tell you, and we're obviously jumping ahead quite a bit here.
Hey, big
there is a dinner scene
Ugh.
in this movie that rivals Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I tell you.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
It does. And Hello to
The
Big Al
centerpiece.
Presents. Yeah.
Lord.
And this, yes, the centerpiece. And that's and when we get to spoilers, we'll go deeper into this. But I want to get into spoilers so bad, but I don't want to do it.
What's holding us back? Okay, are we just waiting till we get to the end, sort of summarization, and then we can go back and talk big spoilers?
Right.
I want to talk about this. I want to like hash over stuff so bad. Okay, sorry.
All right, you want to let it rip?
No, you go ahead. This is your live stream, and you have a formula, so we'll follow along. And so I'm trying to be careful about what I say, since you seem to want to hold off on spoilers till the end. So I'll be careful.
I know. I think we.
Now you're.
I think we're okay doing it now. All right.
Oh, good. That's a good. You put this. There.
Okay, I'll just put it there. It's supposed to scroll, but I did it wrong. Anyway, spoilers. Fine. Okay. All right. Well. All right. So the killer is taking out people that he feels is responsible for the riot, and you know what? He's not entirely wrong, because they are responsible for it.
Right. In one way or another, they in one way or another. Yeah.
You know.
But it's specifically, it's not just because the riot happened. Sorry, my dog just jumped out of my lip. It's not just because the riot happened, but it's also because a particular person got killed.
Yes.
I think if this person had not gotten killed, the killer wouldn't give a crap.
No, probably not.
So, I mean, you know.
Right. So that's one thing that I did want to bring up. And something that's been kind of sorely lacking, I think, in a lot of horror movies lately is the victimology actually works in this movie. There's the point, that these people are not being chosen at random. There is a specific reason why the killer is targeting these people.
Yes.
Even though as the film goes on, there is collateral damage. In particular, the parade sequence,
right? That's right.
Which is pretty well done, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yes. One of my favorite, besides the first kill, one of my favorite scenes was in the school. Actually, not necessarily that. I mean, I like the parade scene too, but obviously we know that's leading up to the climax, the reveal, and everything. Because that was in the third act. The scene in the school when she's hiding from him in that room, I really liked that scene. Yeah. I thought that was well done. And of course you had the typical, her elbow hits something and makes it fall. And it's like, come on, you are hiding from somebody that you know is going to try to kill you. You would be doubly careful about where your elbow is at any point in time. So I rolled my eyes when that happens. Like, oh, okay, of course, this is this is tropey. This is the tropey stuff that's aggravating me. But it was still a really cool scene. I liked her hiding place. I was like, that's actually really good. I like that. She's like there, acting like one of the head mannequins in the hairdressing part of the school or something. But
which was interesting because that's the first school I've ever seen that has like a beauty salon,
something like that, right? Makes you wonder if this is like a tech school or a high school. What was this? Anyway,
you got a McDonald's in here too? What?
Starbucks. But so I like that scene. I heard that the trampoline scene was altered from the trailer. I heard that the knife went elsewhere in the trampoline scene when she did the split and landed on the trampoline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would like to go back and read because I was thinking when she did that, I'm like, oh, I bet somebody's under there, and sure enough, they were, but the knife landed somewhere else.
Just how exactly
How was
the
the
killer
person?
got from one place to another in that scene is
Yes,
also,
this is the problem. Okay, so this is the
yes.
problem. Yeah, and I do agree, writers, when you mentioned that the motivation was strong. Yes, absolutely. I have no issue with the motivation of the
Mm-hmm.
killer at all. I got it completely. The problem I had with the reveal was the fact that so this is something that I intentionally omitted from my review, and I'm going to just say it now. I omitted
Mm-hmm.
it from my review because my review was a spoiler free review. But I honestly thought we were going to get the reveal of a second killer, because I was
Yeah.
thinking this is the only way it makes sense is if there's another killer, because this killer, there's no way they could have logistically done the stuff they did, seeing as how you already knew where he was positioned in one particular moment, and then later he's in the school doing this stuff, and then he's magically back where he's, and nobody notices all this running around, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
he's got to put the costume on, and it just, the logistics didn't make sense to me,
No.
and that aggravated me. So I don't know if that's the issue you had with the reveal, but I definitely did. That was
Mm-hmm.
a big deal to me. So I was thinking,
Right.
oh, surely there's a
Because
second one, but there was not. Exactly. So it was not just me. It wasn't just me,
no,
because I was like, wait, this makes no sense, because during the school scene he was right outside,
mm-hmm.
right before this stuff happened,
Yeah,
and then
I I was definitely expecting there to be two killers, at the
okay,
least two,
yeah, yeah, same,
if not maybe even more. For something else that's we're going to get
right,
it to when we get to it. But
yeah. So that
in that
aggravated me.
gymnasium scene, um, you have one character who is pretty much killed right away, and then you have the girl who's stabbed on the trampoline, who we find out later is kind of not quite gone yet, and she's still alive when we get to the
She
dinner
was the
scene.
chick in the refrigerator, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. She's the one who was
So
dead, and then the killer stabbed her after she'd been dead. At least you know a certain amount of time had to have passed, and then blood was still flowing freely. I had another issue with
yeah,
that. It was like, no, no.
no.
So these things were adding up, like in my con list. It was like, no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay, sorry. Proceed.
No, but the thing is you have the boyfriend facing this way, watching the girl on the trampoline. He's killed. Then all of a sudden, the killer is underneath the trampoline. He did not
So
have
quickly.
time to get over there.
Right. I
You
know.
know, um,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's very clever there, Eli Roth, how you distracted us with that. But
And she never
no,
noticed. She never heard
she
anything. Yeah,
would
the head
have
turning scene
heard
was
or seen
definitely
that.
brutal, but
Yeah,
she would have heard that for sure.
indeed.
And how in the world he just magically scampered to where he had, yeah, yeah, that's definitely, it's another issue with this. It's
Yeah.
just yeah, exactly. He's yeah, this is the problem. Yeah, it was just
You know. All right. Well, we'll just come out and say it. Not necessarily talk about the reveal, but talk about the issue. The killer in this movie teleports
basically.
and does it a number of times.
Yep.
And the individual who is the killer, who in the situation that they're in, if he's gone for an extended length of time, that would be noticeable because
Yeah.
people would be looking for this person.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, for as good as the dinner scene is, and I'm going to call it that, the dinner scene, for as good as it is, when the killer is revealed to be who they are revealed to be, he did not have time to set all that up.
Right.
people are going to notice that, hey, where's so and so doing, driving off with like those 3 people tranquilized in the back seat of the vehicle there.
Exactly, because he wasn't he prominently featured as a like the parade? Okay.
Yeah.
He was there because he was part of the containment, security.
Right.
And so, yeah, like you said, I was just, there's just no way that, oh gosh, it's making me frustrated all over again. These were the feelings that I had when I was thinking about how to formulate my thoughts in a way to complain about this movie. There were parts about it that I really did enjoy, but boy, the killer, they needed to have it be multiple killers or come up with some other motive and reason for the killing and have it not be that character.
Yeah.
It just didn't, it just doesn't track.
Right.
And when you say teleport to the audience, he's being facetious. I mean, if you didn't catch that, there's no supernatural stuff in this.
No,
it's not sci-fi. It just like literally, the killer was one place, and then they were suddenly somewhere
instantaneously, almost in another place.
Like, and there was no way he was right out here, and then all of a sudden he scampers off and he's kidnapping kids in the school and going after the main girl. It's just no. And then after it's all done, there he is. He's right back where he's supposed. No.
Yeah. And that's the problem, because there are so many other things in this movie that work, that are done well.
Agreed. I don't understand. I don't understand how Eli Roth could have screwed that part up so badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Because I mean, you.
See, I know. See, this is all I can think about when I think about Thanksgiving. This is the part that I think about, because it's too big for me to overlook.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it can be excused. Now, maybe if you've got one little part that's like, okay, all right, this was just something that they let slip. They kind of, but it happens more than once.
Like the scene in the gymnasium.
Right. I could overlook that. Okay. I could totally overlook that. All right, we'll give it to you. She had her back turned. She was making noise jumping on the trampoline. She didn't hear her boyfriend's neck get snapped and his head get literally twisted around to the other side. Okay. She didn't hear this commotion. But the fact that it happened multiple times, I can't get past that. And as much as I did enjoy this film, I'm going to use a phrase that someone called. They called it a fun but flawed film. That's how I feel. It is fun, but it's flawed, and it's flawed to the point that it does affect my ability to fully enjoy it like I wanted to. And I mentioned something like that in my own review. And I have issues with the reveal scene as well. Just some stuff that happened in that, and the stuff afterwards, the battle and the escape and all of that. But we can get to that whenever you're ready to slide us into that conversation.
All right. Well, all right.
There's other parts you want to talk about.
All right, now I'll get to the thing that was the main issue for me. And again, I want to stress, I am not thumbs down on this movie.
Me either.
I think there's enough in it to recommend it. Yes. But there is a problem. Now, you've already brought this up partially. There are 2 characters that get kidnapped from the high school. And
where did he stash them, by the way? Where did he stash them while he was going after the girl? What?
We don't get to see where he leaves them, or how he got them out, or how no one noticed that. But and there's a lot of that in this movie, and that's the problem. Now you've got me really thinking, asking some questions that I wasn't asking before. But there was a point, though, or I started asking questions, and I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Now, I'm doing it in my usual roundabout way, but I'm getting to it. All right. So we have the incident at the school. Mm-hmm. Our lead heroine gets away. Patrick Dempsey's character, the sheriff, comes up with this plan of how he's going to trap the killer in this warehouse where they keep the parade floats every year.
Right. Yes.
All right. So he gets his deputies together. You got these wall of cops around everything, and a scene that's in the original Grindhouse trailer happens.
Okay.
Where the killer at that point, dressed as a clown, comes up with the axe and kills the guy who is the turkey mascot.
Okay.
Who's the character Lionel in the film. This character who you see once early in the movie, and then you kind of forget about him for a while, and then he comes back at this point just to get killed. And this leads to pandemonium, chaos.
Right.
Some vehicles crash together. There's some collateral damage. Some people who are not targets of the killer who end up getting killed because of it. And the killer, now dressed as a clown, kidnaps our lead heroine, her stepmom, and her dad.
Right.
Plus, he now has the two that he kidnapped from the school.
Yes.
And he also has
the
cheerleader who is still somehow not bled out yet a day and a half later.
Well, she was still alive in the fridge.
She was still alive in the fridge, yeah.
But yeah.
Now, I actually thought the way that sequence was done was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a pretty good action sequence for what it is, and it is an action sequence. It's like something out of a Die Hard or a Lethal Weapon movie or something. Yeah. It's pretty well shot, and when you see how the killer uses the tranquilizer gums, he uses it in a previous sequence as well when he gets into. When he gets into the house of one of the other characters, the Russian girl, yeah. And I'm pretty sure the guy who played her dad was in one of the John Wick movies, but I'm not.
I can't even remember his face.
Or he might have been in Nobody. He looked really familiar to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that immaterial. He's in one sequence of the film, and then he kind of disappears from the movie. But so it's like the cheerleader's refrigerated wine. She is. He that's what happens to her. Yeah. And so anyway, we have a killer who is proficient with firearms. Let's put it that way. To be as accurate as he is with the tranquilizer gun, that should be bing. Okay, because that was my first tip off of.
Yeah.
This is a clue. Yeah. And that narrows it down to two, and that narrows that particular sequence down to, okay, it's one of these two guys.
Okay.
For me.
So you already had an inkling at that time. I didn't at that point, because in movies like this, the baddies are generally adept at pretty much anything, even if that's not their profession. Mm-hmm. So I would just, okay, all right, he's a good shot. But that I didn't put two and two together at that point. So you were a bit ahead of me on that.
For me, throughout the movie, there were four main suspects.
Okay.
And when we get closer to the end, I'll explain who. Do you want to give away who it ultimately was, or
it's
are
up
you
to
comfortable
you
with that?
It's up to you. I'm fine with whatever you choose to do.
All right.
I'm curious who your suspects were, though.
Chat, there's going to be a little bit of time before we get to it. Let me know if you want to know who the killer is, or if you just want to leave the the stream, that's fine. And
well,
when I take
someone
this,
accurately guessed already.
somebody has already accurately guessed. So, and this is someone who has already claimed they have not seen the film. So
I believe him too.
that's
yeah, I believe him. So
that's
I
not good for
guess
the movie necessarily.
It's funny because I think I was talking with someone recently. It might have been one of my own brothers. I can't remember if it was one of my brothers or if it was someone else, but he accurately guessed too. Oh, it's so and so. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I think it was my brother who came here for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, you're right. And maybe it was just something that he figured out from the trailer because he hasn't seen the movie yet.
Right. Now, okay, so we've had a series of kidnappings and severe injuries and kidnap. This killer is pretty multifaceted because it's not just killing; it's also assault, kidnapping, destruction of evidence. This crime after crime after crime.
And he's a good chef.
Yes. All right.
He makes sure to baste before he puts in the
oven. Yeah. The stepmother gets cooked.
Yes.
She gets cooked and she is turned into a literal turkey.
I literally she literally was, and I actually laughed when the killer stabbed her with the thermometer. And when she was done, it goes whoop. I laughed at that. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. So,
but I liked also that she didn't go down easy either.
No, she actually
put up a fight. I thought she would escape. She didn't,
and almost does.
But, yeah, one of the most beautiful
turkeys ever. She was delicious. No, I'll stop. Never. Anyway, so yeah,
like
and
some pie with that.
Oh, that is an actual line in the movie. And then he cuts off a piece of thigh and serves it to her husband.
Literally did.
Yeah. And there is a point and it was at that point that are they going to go there? Is this going to go into cannibalism?
I was glad that it didn't. I was a bit disturbed. That obviously is disturbing material. And at that point, when that happened, and he sliced off part of her thigh, I was thinking, this might be a bit much for my nephew. Maybe I shouldn't bring him to see this because he's 14. I mean, still he likes horror. But anyway, it didn't go there. But still, that is disturbing. He could have seasoned her up a bit more, though. Just a little bit more salt and pepper from the grinder.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's missing something. Anyway. And hello to Sashi. Good to see you.
Hi, Sashi. How you doing?
Some more rosemary time. Yeah. So okay, so so she's gone. The cheerleader finally expires. Was it the neck wound that did it, or was she dead by the time that he got her to the table?
By the time he got her to the table, she was dead.
Okay.
That's why I had an issue with when he cut her in the neck and then he was, draining the blood. I was thinking, no, her blood would not have spilled out like that.
No.
It wouldn't have. That's like blood that would come out when you still have a heart beating. And she didn't. And it had been more than just a few moments after. I mean, it wasn't like she had just died. If she had just died, then maybe you would get some. But no, it's just like, if that was one of the only issues, I could overlook that. But that's just, one of the many things that I put on my little, my con list.
Okay. So stepmother's gone, the cheerleader is gone, and we have the frat boy football boyfriend of Addison Rae's character. Now he shot footage of he basically shot the footage of the riot.
Yes.
And the video goes viral. And at this point, it is still a year later going viral. Even though he says he didn't put it up, which of course it's YouTube. Other people will take your material and will, repost it. It can happen. It's possible. Right. Sharing the video out and whatnot is very easy to do. So he gets done in as well, because the killer is also at this point has put, is putting this up on social media as well.
Streaming it, and there's a bunch of hearts and likes.
Right, a lot of a creepy amount of likes.
Yeah, freaky.
Yeah, and because one thing that we didn't go into earlier in the review is that this movie really does say something about social media, because the kids are just social media obsessed.
Yeah.
Which I know is a hell of a thing for a couple of YouTubers to say, but we're adults and we know when to unplug.
Exactly.
Even though it might not seem like it with me of late, but I do other stuff other than this,
Same, yeah.
And we all do. Many of us do. A lot of us have day jobs. Most of us do. And if you've reached a point to where you can afford to just do this all day, my hat's off to you. But we're not there yet,
No.
But yeah, so this is a movie where the subplot is really saying something about social media and how these kids and a couple of the adults too are kind of obsessed with social media or looking good to in the eyes of the public, to the point of they're kind of paying people off and being a little corrupt, and because like I said, the people who are being targeted by the killer, their hands are not clean, and some of them more than others, because we know the father has the riot footage on the security cameras, and he has
destroyed it or hid it.
He's destroyed or hidden all of the evidence that he's culpable in any way.
Right.
And this is also a guy who's, sitting at home quietly in his mansion, while he's telling other people to leave their families and go to work. And they wind up in the middle of this thing, and they don't all survive. And so no, the guy's culpable in many ways,
But the thing I like about him is that he's not like he didn't come across as a one-dimensional.
No, he's not
type of person. He does. Thing. Yeah.
And that scene, two scenes really that he has with his daughter, who's the lead girl, and he's got a couple real heartfelt scenes with her, because he really does feel like he's let her down in some fashion.
Yeah.
And he says so, I got lonely after your mother died, and I remarried quickly, and and I get that maybe I'm ignoring you, or maybe I'm not really paying attention to what's going on in your life in a way that I should be. And he genuinely apologized.
Yeah.
I am sorry that I left you alone. And I shouldn't have. I should have been in your life more. And I don't know where you are now. Your boyfriend ghosted you. He bailed for like a whole year, and I didn't say word one about it. I let it go. I did nothing to comfort you or anything like that. And I realized that to you, I have been he's got a lot of things that he's being a jerk about, but when it comes to her, he genuinely apologizes. And that's good.
Yeah.
Like this guy's layered. He's not all
right.
He's not this
exactly.
He's not this mustache twirling villain,
Completely,
rich, let them eat
money grubbing, greedy store owner. Yeah.
He gets to a point. He gets to one point in this movie where he's like, I've made some genuine mistakes. I'm married to this woman who might be a gold digger.
Might be.
I've ignored my daughter. I've let things
And me
slacken
listening
off.
to this woman who I'm going to marry, me listening to her about opening the store was,
Yeah,
contributed to this riot that happened because it was
yeah,
her. It was her. She wanted him to open the store.
yeah.
So,
So so I thought that was a nice piece of
yep,
writing there, Mr. Roth. Pretty
I
good.
like that.
Um, yeah, I like that too. And Rick Hoffman, he's a good actor who plays the father
That's the
there,
guy who played
and
the father. Yeah, he
he's
was in.
he's in Hostel, and he was in Suits,
He
and
was also in
The
Cellular.
Condemned, and Cellular, yeah. Um, and he's one of those actors who he usually plays the asshole,
Yes, and he does it very well
and
because
he's
he's
very
just
good
got
at
one
it.
of those faces.
Yeah, you do. He has a very punchable face
Yes, he does. Poor
for
guy, can't help it. But
for a guy.
that.
He's pretty. He seems like a pretty decent guy in real life, based
Oh,
on some of
I'm
what I've
sure. I'm
seen.
sure he
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But yeah,
and
he definitely can play those parts very, very well.
and at the end, and at the I don't know if you stayed through the credits, but there's an end bit with him that's
Oh,
um
was it at the very
like a
end?
at the very end. It's like a blooper reel thing with him.
Oh, a
That's
blooper.
pretty.
Shoot, I
That's
I
pretty
missed
cute.
it because I
Yeah.
had looked up to see if there was post-credit scene and it said no there wasn't. So I left, but I didn't even think about the
Yeah.
fact that there might be
It,
something like a blooper.
yeah, it doesn't affect
Shoot.
the movie plot in any
What
way.
was the
It's
blooper?
just um it's the scene where he apologizes to her,
Okay.
and she leaves the house, but the camera stays on him. But he's
Okay.
staying in character, keep
And it was
going, and
burst
he's
out
still
in
sitting. He's waiting for Eli Roth to say cut,
cut. Yeah.
but he's not doing it. And then finally Eli Roth goes cut, and he goes, "Fuck you, man! Leaving me hanging."
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny. That's funny. Doggone, I wish
yeah,
I'd seen that.
and yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's probably online somewhere. I'll try to find it later.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'll try to look it up.
but yeah, so the back to the dinner scene, and so we have the carving, we have the blood wine, and we have the bludgeoning. So
That
young
was the
Evan
jock, right?
is
The jock
gone.
got the
Yeah,
meat cleaver. The meat
and
tenderizer, right?
he's interesting because for the first half of the movie, I'm like, oh no, he's just that Eli Roth frat bro character. Because I wanted him to die so bad in the first half of the movie.
Yeah, he was a turd. I didn't like him, and I didn't like him.
And then he finally starts saying things that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
He finally starts talking like, okay, you've got somebody after you, and you got to figure out who it is, and you got to do something about it. And he finally starts. So he finally smartens up to a point, And I'm like, okay, he's not so annoying for it. And like, you actually just said something fucking brilliant there, son. It's about time. Thank you. Good. First time in your life. Good. And so finally, I'm like, oh, okay. There is a point in the movie where you do start liking these characters, despite some of their flaws. At least I did, anyway.
Yeah.
There was a point where I didn't want any of them to get killed, even though I knew they were pretty much all toast, and for the most part, they are. But
yeah. Well, not all of them. Fortunately, not all of them did get it.
No, not all.
I did like that they didn't. It didn't come down to just the final girl.
No,
there were some people that survived.
Not that. There are a lot of other people that do survive, but there is a point in the movie where you do start caring, and that's when I started liking the movie, despite some of the faults and some of the stuff that comes up later, which we've gotten into. But and this is something that Tarantino said one time in an interview when he's talking about like 70s exploitation films, is there's always a point if it's done well, there's always a point where you start caring.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was a point with me in this movie where I started caring, you know,
Okay.
despite myself, knowing, okay, they're not all getting away. It's this nature of the beast kind of movie. It's a slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
I I didn't think it was going to be a total wipeout, but I figured more of them were going to die than did.
Okay.
Um, and I liked that the lead girl who's Jessica, and the guy they call Scuba, the black kid.
Yeah.
I liked their little partnership because it
Yeah.
came like a cop buddy movie after
Yeah,
a
it
while
did.
with those
Yeah.
two, and I'm like,
They were kind of paired
it's
up,
like it's kind of
defending
Lethal Weapon
themselves.
with these
Yeah.
two, you know,
Yeah.
and I like that. It's like, shit,
Mm-hmm.
the movie could have just been the two of them trying to figure this out, and that would
Right.
have been fine, you know, and I would have been fine with that, you know, and you know, maybe if it were like a Shane Black movie or something, but
Remind me how
um,
his girlfriend, the Russian girl,
she's
how did
yeah,
she,
his girlfriend's the Russian girl,
yeah, how did
and
she got the corn cob things in the ears,
yeah,
but I forgot
and
how she actually got killed.
okay, so her father decides that he's going. We're going to
They're going
Florida.
to leave.
That's
Yeah.
that's his whole plan. Is we'll just go to Florida. Fair enough. Okay, you know, there's an individual called Florida Man. You might want to be just careful of the locals. No, it's sorry. I'm kidding, Florida. I love you. I
Oh,
know a lot of
buzzsaw
people
to
in
the
Florida.
stomach.
You're all
That's
good.
right.
She
Okay.
got the
Yeah.
buzz saw,
She was
and
thrown on the table saw.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay. Okay.
so it's like, LOL, that scene is hilarious. Asking, what do I do? Well, same thing to take what I do. You know,
Oh
he
gosh.
does. Yeah, what do I do? Shoot, you know, you know, what do I do? Well, unless you're a surgeon and can do something like in 5 minutes, I don't think you're going to do much of anything at all, there, kid. Sorry. Um, but yeah, Yulia does not make it, unfortunately. So close to a clean getaway,
Yeah.
and so yeah, so in case you're wondering where like these high school kids are getting their weaponry, yeah, um, McCarty, that guy, I liked him. He was funny.
Oh, he was the guy who
He
sold them
who
those
who sells
the
them the
guns,
guns,
right?
and he's basically he's 30, but he's hanging around with high school kids, which is a
Yeah, he's
little
like
weird.
the
He's
drugs
he's
guy
kind
or
of
something, right?
he's kind of like the Matthew McConaughey dazed and confused character.
Oh, okay.
He's still kind of hanging out with these high school kids, even though he's 30, and he sells them together, and he gets kind of one of the best lines in the movie. Where there are some kids that are trying to get into the party, and the whole Black Sabbath bit.
Oh
He says, "Oh yeah,"
yeah,
he
and
goes
goes
to the
like,
party and says, "Who is Black Sabbath?"
yeah,
Get the fuck
and
out! Get out!
I
You
I knew
know?
that was gonna happen when he was talking about that. I was like, yeah, the kid's gonna say, "Who's Black Sabbath?" The guy's gonna get pissed. And yeah,
And he's like, "Get out!" And that was that way in the movie theater. Get out! Get
yeah.
out! Leave the movie, son. You are not allowed in the rest of the movie.
Where's the killer when you need him?
Yeah, execute him. You know, and so he's pretty. He steals the scenes he's in, and the thing that I thought was really beautifully set up with the ring that has the little blade on, because that's how
Yeah.
they get away later
Mm-hmm.
during the dinner scene where they cut themselves loose. So he actually does kind of save them in an important moment by default, because
Right.
he gives
Of
gives
course,
her the
you
ring,
knew
which was
somehow that
very
was going to come into
that was going
play.
to come into play,
Yeah.
but you just didn't quite know how. And
Right.
that's the really cool thing, is that there are a lot of really good setups and payoffs in this movie, and until we get to the reveal, they do track, which is what makes the issues with the killer so glaring.
Yeah.
is that you had a movie that had so many beautiful setups and payoffs in it that you have this killer that's zigzagging around all over the place, and he wouldn't be there, and he can't be there, and that's going to be pretty noticeable because he's been gone a while now.
Yep.
And okay, all right, let me see. I love that scene to go upstairs and he has his cute little gun
human
clubs.
can hold. Yeah, there was laughter in the theater when that line happened.
That's a fun scene. And okay, now Jessica and Scuba escape the dinner scene. Not without some injuries, and that's another thing I want to discuss is that her ankle injury seems to be just fine.
I mentioned that. Yeah.
By the end of the movie.
Yes. That stood out to me. That was a big issue because the way she landed on that ankle, there was no way she would have been able to function. You could say, okay, adrenaline, but adrenaline can only get you but so far.
So far, because that's like that was like. Did you see the black phone?
Yes, I did.
It's that injury, folks. The one that crosses up the killer, and that is pretty much what happens to her when she jumps the fence.
He fell, yeah.
You don't just walk away so easy from that, folks. You're going to be...
Even with adrenaline, it's just like your foot's not going to work properly. So I did have an issue with that.
And I know because, I stubbed my toe. I can't walk for a week. This is how I am. Because I have like a tendon issue, and that kind of bothers me from time to time. So I know how that is. But
well, she was still hobbling a bit when she went up to the sheriff, when the sheriff was down on the ground. But then after that, it was like it was completely forgotten pretty much. And she was totally fine. So
right. Now we get
where did
back.
Scuba go?
He got cut in the fight.
Okay.
So he went down.
But he didn't die. Scuba didn't die.
No, he didn't die.
Okay. So she took off. The killer goes off
after Jessica.
That's when she goes over the fence, hurts her ankle.
And my assumption, because they show back up together at the end, is he goes and he unties Addison Rae and gets her out of there. Okay. Who's Gabrielle. And he goes and he gets the father out too, because he's alive at the end as well.
Okay.
So I assume
the killer's chasing her.
Yes.
And then conveniently the killer is right where she's running to.
Yes. Also, yes.
And the killer had been in an altercation with her ex, had shot at him.
Right.
And
he did not have time to do all of that.
No.
And
she takes his gun.
Right.
And heads into the building. Mm-hmm. And then he magically knows where and how to find her later. She could have run off back into the woods or run away from the building, but he somehow manages to find her exactly.
Now it has been explained. Now, but I'm about to go into something that's could be construed as a mistake, but it's an out.
Okay.
Now, we have been told before the whole parade sequence happens. And this is when the movie is trying to make you believe that it's one of her, either the ex-boyfriend or the new one.
Or the current, yes.
And all right, I'm just going to come down and say it.
Just say it.
I'm going to just say it. Throughout the course of the movie, I had 4 suspects.
Okay.
Boyfriend number 1, boyfriend number 2, the sheriff, Patrick Dempsey, and his new deputy, the guy from Dark Matter.
Yes, okay.
Who Nina Infinity just interviewed on her channel, by the way. Check that show out. Jeff Trevanian. I've had some interactions with him online back when Dark Matter was on. Cool guy. Yeah, as Canadian character actor. They did shoot this movie in
Canada?
Canada, which is why they
Oh.
have so many Canadian
Okay.
actors in it.
Okay.
Now, or Canadian based at least. Now, like I said, we have my four suspects: the two boyfriends, the deputy, and the sheriff. Which led me to believe that are we dealing with multiple people here? Because that was the possibility, and the fact that you had the killer going, okay, he killed that guy over there, yet all of a sudden he's under the trampoline.
Yeah. Or
The
he was
killer
outside the school,
is
and
outside the
now he's
school
inside
and is now
getting the
inside,
kids.
and then is suddenly back outside.
And yeah, and then he somehow finds a way to stash them and then go back into, his role.
Yeah. His normal 9 to 5 persona. And now you have this situation where you have had this massacre take place literally in the town square in front of everybody, where there are people dead in the street. And this person, being who he is, should be there controlling the scene. But he's not. He's over here doing this whole dinner scene sequence.
And he's missing.
This is a character who is gone for hours. Hours of movie time have passed.
Yeah, and he's like in a position where he would have to be.
He would have to be back in town, scraping up all of the people that are dead,
and trying to zero in on where this dinner
who
is
exactly
happening.
The killer is, and yet where this dinner is happening. And that's also a clue that it's him, because the deputy is there,
but he's not.
The detective is there, he's not.
Yeah, and the fact that he's not, though, that's definitely.
And I didn't pick up on that when I first saw the movie.
I didn't pick up on that in that particular moment.
No. So.
But yeah, the reveal. Okay, I've got issues with the reveal and stuff that happened after the reveal as well.
Okay. Now, as you may have guessed by what we've just said, and what was said earlier in the chat, yes, Patrick Dempsey is the killer.
Yes.
And he is the town sheriff.
Shocker.
He cannot be in the multiple places at once that he appears to be, because he is the sheriff. He is leading this investigation. There are places he should be that he's not. He would be.
And nobody seems to notice.
Nobody goes looking for him.
Even though this investigation is going on, nobody seems to notice that the sheriff. Now, something that occurred to me right as I was filming my review, and you can see it on my face as it occurs to me, they basically give it away at the very opening shot. Do you remember what that was?
They do. when you look back at it, it is completely.
I was mentioning the mask, because the mask, he wears the mask, and it reminds me of Michael Myers breathing through the mask, because you could hear the breathing, and that, to me, that is so creepy. I have a whole thing with Michael Myers.
Yeah, that was a good scene. Yeah,
it was, but at the beginning, and then I was like, oh yeah, they did that at the beginning. Someone walking up the steps and they're breathing through a mask, very heavy breathing. That's what you're supposed to think is going on, and then the door opens and it's Patrick Dempsey coming to this house, and there's Gina Gershon, and then I was like, oh yeah, they're basically telling us at the very beginning who the killer was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I picked up on hints of something between Gina and him, because some of the things they were saying to each other, and I don't know, just kind of like, oh, are we hinting at something? But then I just kind of forgot about it until the reveal happened. And so yeah, Patrick, he reveals himself as he's the killer. He says the reason why. It's because he loved Gina's character. She got killed, and she was pregnant with their child. She was going to leave her husband. And so this is what bothered me about that part. As soon as he revealed himself as the character, I was thinking, yeah, but this isn't physically possible. There has to be a second killer. There has to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept holding out hope that that was going to happen. And this is what bothered me about the part of the reveal. He leaves the office or the room, and the main character is in the room with these evidence bags. And in one of the evidence bags is her ex-boyfriend's phone.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was her ex-boyfriend's phone.
Yeah.
And this is before she has even figured out who the killer is. Why does she take the phone? There's no reason for her to have taken the phone and turned it on and secretly started to record.
Well, that
made no sense.
It right, because
Why?
she took
no
it
idea.
She took it after he left the room the first time,
after
right?
He left the room, but before it was revealed.
Okay.
And then he comes back in, and then you realize she has taken the phone and she has secretly turned it on to record, because that's how she reveals to everybody who he is. And I was like, you had no...
She took it because she noticed the sticker bushes on his shoes and the pant leg.
But that wasn't until right before he
They didn't show that until later. They pointed it out. But the point is... They pointed
it out, but she hadn't
pointed it out too late.
She hadn't put it together, though.
Right.
And because I was thinking, okay, maybe she was starting to guess. But no, when he revealed himself as the killer, she acted so gobsmacked and shocked. So she had no clue.
I don't know. I think she was playing him there at that point.
I don't know.
Maybe I need to go back and see that part again. But,
yeah, this is one of the reasons why I want to rewatch it too. Because I want to see if things that I was critical of, maybe I was just... I mentioned in my review, maybe I was tricked by the filming into assumptions I was making, because that's where the story led me, and it was an intentional tricking. I don't know. But I just know that when she noticed the stuff on his pant leg, she already had the phone, and she wasn't suspicious. So she had no... He was shooting at the killer.
The killer.
The killer.
She had no clue it was him in the first place.
Well, I mean, when she sees the stuff, we see the stuff on his pants, and that's when he turns around and reveals. That's when she starts to put it together. But by that point, she had the phone. She had turned on the phone. There was no reason for her to have done that. I could see if you show him leaving and she glances at his pant leg and she sees it, we see it, then her getting the phone and secretly recording would make complete sense. But it doesn't when that happens. I'm like, wait, what? No.
Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. I don't know. But I thought she saw the pant leg before she got the phone, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I need to rewatch it. I could be wrong, but that's the way I remember it. So that's why I had a big problem with it. And then later, some other problems I had. They're running away. She and her ex, they're running through the building. She stops to turn on the balloon thing. Why? Because there was no indication at that point that she had any plans to shoot it and make it explode. So why? Okay, you know it's going to happen, but why? Because when she did turn around and shoot it, that was just like, oh, I'm in this situation. Oh, let me take this gun. Let me shoot this thing. There was no... that didn't track with me either. So I had issues with that.
Yeah. There are some goofy things in this movie that don't entirely track. But, that chief thing being the fact that he was gone effectively from the point where the massacre at the parade starts, to when she finds him lying in the street. He's not to be seen during that entire...
Never mind the fact that how in the world could he suddenly be in the street when he was just chasing her moments before?
Yeah.
And how could he have done all this stuff with the ex-boyfriend? Because
he's framing him for all of this at the same time.
I know, but I mean, the fact that he's chasing her, And then he had gone and tried to hunt down the ex-boyfriend, and the ex-boyfriend knocked him
I
out.
guess gets to drop on. Well, we don't see that happen. He
We
tells
don't
her
see it
that
happen.
happened.
He tells her. I guess you could.
He could have
assume
lied about that part
maybe,
of it,
but
but
how did
still, how
he
did he
know
get
what?
there? You know, yeah.
Yeah. And how did he know for sure that the ex was in the building? I mean, just there was just too much that didn't. It just didn't line up, and it felt extremely sloppy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that's all I can think of when I think of this movie. Even though there's so much to enjoy, that's
There's
the
a
thing.
lot
It
to
sounds like
like,
we're hating on it.
and we're
We're
not.
not.
We're not.
But
It's a good movie, but
so
there are
frustrating when the
plot
writing.
holes in
Yeah,
it,
so
and
many plot holes.
and things that could have just as easily have been changed or talked away, or there's a way that you could have explained this, or again, having multiple people involved, which for most of the movies where I thought they were going with it, but
I thought for sure. I
not
was
to
like,
be.
okay, we're going to get a reveal. It's going to be a second killer. It's going to be a second killer. There's no way this could happen without it being a second killer. And then there was not a second killer, and I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually angry when that happened. Just because this film had so much potential, it was so solid up until those moments. And I get frustrated when I know something has the potential and then it just starts to jump the shark.
Yeah.
Which is what this did.
And this does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie up to that point. And there are things in that third act I like. The practical effects are very good.
Oh yeah.
That dinner scene is genuinely, there's a couple of genuinely creepy moments in this.
Some
and
nasty kills.
There are some nasty kills that rival Final Destination, and yeah. So there's a lot in this movie that works. There's just also some stuff that doesn't, Unfortunately, and it does downgrade the movie. But it is worth seeing.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I'm recommending it despite my problems with it. But
Same.
yeah. So don't get us wrong. We have questions. There are things in this movie we don't like, but hello, doggy.
Sorry.
That's fine. But for the most part, yeah, it's fine. It's shot well. The effects are good. The acting's fine. Just it does sequel bait.
Yeah.
But and they've left enough.
That,
they left. They basically did. They basically did the ending of the My Bloody Valentine remake without the whole thing of having him rip off the mask and look back behind him.
I forgot how that one ended, but it was basically like, oh, we couldn't find his body, but nobody could have survived. Honestly, we saw him get engulfed in flames. He could not have survived. He couldn't have survived.
No,
so
but
when he's dead, in my mind, he's dead. If they do a sequel and he comes back, that's going to actually be really annoying to me. So when they did that final shot and she has this nightmare, it's like, oh, okay, it's just a nightmare. Haha. Okay, yeah. See what you did there. If you're teasing that he could be alive, please don't even, because then you're venturing into Jason Voorhees territory and Michael Myers. And I don't like that territory with slasher stuff. I don't like it when they get to where they're unkillable. I want them to be killable. That makes them scary to me, which is right. That sounds like very counterintuitive.
And that's
But that to me, like a human killer is the scariest. When you get into supernatural, it's like, oh, okay, that's just supernatural stuff. It's not right. Oh
well. Because like I said, this is the killer is not OP. He's just a guy, who has the ability to be in several places at once and might or might not be impervious to fire. But
can't be. He really can't be. The fire completely engulfed him. And so if they're going to do anything sequelish, I think the smart thing to do would be to just have another killer, just like with the Scream franchises.
Just do a different thing. Yeah.
Because I like the mask was creepy and cool,
Yeah.
and I like that whole idea, you know. So I'm fine with a sequel if they have another killer. Please don't do the whole Patrick Dempsey survived the fire, even though you saw him being completely engulfed by the fire. Just don't.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, folks, that was Eli Roth's
That's
Thanksgiving.
the movie.
It's it's actually not bad for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, despite the misgivings we have about certain things in it, but and the fact that
worth.
and the fact that if there is a sequel, Patrick Dempsey, I'm sorry, you cannot be in it. But please don't. Don't do it. Do not let them talk you into this. I know they're trying to talk you into coming back for Screen 7 right now to save that piece of crap. Don't do it.
Oh yeah, I heard
don't
about
do either
that.
one.
I heard about the possibility of that. I had
know.
forgotten he was even in the Scream movies, but yeah. I was getting ready to say something, then I completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh well. Oh, I was going to say, I can't personally, from me, I can't call it my favorite slasher of the year.
No, that's there are a couple that I think are better, but
I would have loved to be able to. I think that's something that just that's why I get so passionate about certain movies, that I really was expecting it was going to be this solid thing all the way through, and it wasn't, and so yeah.
But we're not hating on it. We're not hating
on it.
No. We're good. Do not get us wrong with this.
I'm not hating on this at all. I hated on John Wick. I definitely hated on John Wick 4. For multiple reasons. But despite how I sound about Thanksgiving, I am not hating on it at all. No. Just pointing out some issues.
I tried, I guess. In Raid.
Oh, what?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where
you're. Get a raid started. A raid
I'm not
on
sure.
The stream.
I'm not sure where you're going with this. Right? That's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. We got people here.
Why at the end when she looks into the closet and the killer and fire comes out of nowhere? Well, that was just a nightmare.
Yeah, that was just
which is fine. I mean, those are fine. Obviously, that's very typical. A typical type of way to do those sorts of movie endings, and
yeah, that didn't bother me. They had to do one.
A final jump scare.
If you're going to do a dream sequence fake out jump scare, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
That's definitely very low on my list of issues with this movie. That isn't even. That's a non-issue to me. That part.
Non-issue. All right, so I think that about wraps up our spoiler review of Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. A review that's about as long as the movie itself, actually.
I know. I was looking at the
I didn't
time
realize
and I was thinking, I didn't realize I had an hour and 40 plus minutes in me of discussion about this movie.
But somehow we managed it.
Oh, we did. Thanks
and
everyone for joining us.
While there were some major spoilers, we did not really give away the whole store.
We didn't.
We're not saying don't go see it. Go see it. And it's a fun one. See it if you want to wait until streaming. But I mean, if you see it in theaters, I don't think you're really wasting your time at all.
No.
No. You know, it is a solid up to a point.
Yeah.
And then the wheels kind of fall off of it. But
I did like it more than Ends. Halloween Ends.
Oh,
definitely. And I liked it more than Kills. Yeah, exactly. Go see it. Decide for yourself. We have warned you because we this was a spoiler talk, so obviously going into
because
it, you're gonna know.
we wanted to get into the issues that we had, and we could not really do that without
spoilers. But now that
letting you know who did what, but
you can watch it and look for these things, and see whether it's actually as bad as the way we are currently perceiving them. This is why I definitely want to see it again.
Yeah. And maybe we need to come back and do like a second viewing review or something.
Discussion.
But and I didn't think I would do an almost 2-hour review and want to do another one of an Eli Roth movie of all things. But next thing you know, 18-hour discussion, the films of Uwe Boll.
I could go on and on. It's really, yeah. I do think I'm about talked out of this one, but I certainly went on much longer than I expected. But I was wanting to talk about it. I'm glad we had this discussion because I had nobody in my inner circle. I mean, Mike had seen it, but he wasn't doing a discussion about it. So I have no one I could talk to, like, face to face, to hash out my issues. And I see that you had a lot of the same issues I did. I wasn't just imagining these things. So, yeah.
And when you got to that point in your review, it's like, I think I know where she's going with this.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, and but yeah, I mean, aside from that, it's not a bad movie. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
See, I'm different. It was worse than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more solid. Not by using the word worse do I mean that it was awful. What I mean is I expected it to hold up, and unfortunately it didn't, but I would see, if he does a sequel, I would go see it. Unless if Patrick Dempsey shows up on the cast list, then I would be annoyed, and I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't. Yeah. I could see this being a potential, new sort of slasher killer character.
Mm-hmm. They just have to be careful about how they do a sequel.
Exactly. And, you run the risk of things spiraling downhill like what has happened with the Scream franchise. I had some big issues with the last couple movies.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here in the chat. We have a Jedi Bill, Connie Cleary, Big Al Presents. The writers and editors of Napoleon should be sacked.
I take it this person is not a fan of Napoleon, and I didn't watch the movie. My son went to see it this past week.
We have Sashi, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Let me scroll up. We had Brother Toast.
A Real Shift.
Dulcimerist.
Through the Lens showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great discussion. And also,
did you see that?
Yeah, did you see that, Mike? Yeah, Mike really loved this. You wait to see Napoleon. It's hilarious. I actually have no interest in seeing Napoleon. That's why I never went with my son and my dad and my brother when they went to go see it, because I'm just and it's nothing about Joaquin. I'm not usually interested in historical biographical films. I did go see Oppenheimer. I liked it-ish, but I had some issues with the way Nolan told the story. So I was just like, meh, I'm not really interested. But I've heard stuff about it.
Yeah, it's really good. I think it's really good anyway.
You went to see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I would prefer to watch a documentary, which I've seen plenty of. But same reason why I wasn't interested to go see Killers of the Flower Moon. I would rather watch a documentary about that.
Yeah. But to be honest, in Oppenheimer, there are more things that are historically accurate in it than are not. I mean, there are a couple of things where you could question, perhaps, because only the people who were there at that specific time could say this or that happened, but they can't because they're long gone. But there's a lot in it that's pretty accurate, actually. A surprising amount. But
I didn't have an issue with that part of it. I mean, I'm sure there was a great bit of it that was accurate, and it was really fascinating, the whole legal stuff, because I had no idea about all that. But that movie, I didn't actually start to like that movie until it was leading up to the creation of the area there at Los Alamos. And that was Los Alamos, right?
Yeah.
And when they detonated the bomb. When they detonated the bomb, I was like, thank goodness, finally, because it turned off the constant music that was playing. That was really... And I was also very irritated at Nolan's continued back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with all, the jump in the time skips and back and forward and back and all these different characters. And I was getting angry at Nolan. For the first hour plus, I was actually angry at him because I was feeling like you are being so pretentious in the way you're telling this story. But then finally I grew to appreciate it some more. But yeah, just historical stuff I'm not the hugest fan of, so I decided to not go to see Napoleon.
Nice.
Sorry, that was a tangent.
No, that's fine. That's fine. All right, folks, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everybody who was in the chat, everybody who was lurking in the background, because there's always one or two. That's just lurkers. Fine. You don't have to engage in the chat, just as long as you enjoyed the show. He made Oppenheimer far too complicated than it should have been in places, perhaps. Yeah,
I agree, for sure.
All right. I want to thank everybody who was watching on Twitter. There's unfortunately, and on Rumble. Unfortunately, there's no way of me being able to see that chat from my end of StreamYard, unless there's a way to do that I don't know about yet. But,
open up a separate tab and go back and forth and check. Well, I have multiple screens, so I put my Rumble chat up on my second screen just in case someone comments. But yeah, if you only have one screen, the only thing you could do really would be to open up another tab and just check occasionally.
Okay.
Oh well.
So in any case, hello to everybody on
on Twitter
who is watching on Rumble and on Twitter. Yeah. All right. Any last words? Anything coming up for your channel this week?
Yes, actually, tomorrow, a review I did for Riders of Justice is going to go up. I got around to watching this film. Oh my gosh. Have you seen this movie?
I haven't. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
You must watch this movie. It is so good. Because we watched it earlier this week. It was in our Vudu library, and my brother just played it. And I was so blown away by how good it was. I cannot think of anything wrong with that movie. I loved it so much. And Mads Mikkelsen, that's the way I pronounce his name. I don't know if that's accurate, but he's growing on me as an actor. Absolutely growing on me. And I just watched A Promised Land that's coming out in February. I got a screener link for that. That one's good too. But Riders of Justice, oh my gosh. It's got the perfect blend of action, drama, humor. It's so good. I cannot recommend it highly enough, you guys. It's subtitled, it's Danish, but it's really good. Just go watch it. Just watch it. So that's what's coming up on my channel. That's the immediate thing coming up.
Right on. All right. Over on my channel in about 20 minutes or so will be tonight's episode of Unscripted. And as some of you may have guessed from the title and the thumbnail, I am going to go into the whole Scream 7 debacle and what I think of that and why I think it happened the way it did. So check that out. And of course, that is the precursor to Geeky Geezers over on Aged Boomer's channel. I will be in the chat for that. So hope to see you all there. And later on tonight at 12:05 a.m. Eastern, 11:05 Central, The Other Side of Midnight, where Gary Kissel from Pop Culture Minefield will be my guest for the evening. So we'll find out what he's been up to, future plans for his show. And he also has a graphic novel coming out. That's going to be crowdfunded, I believe, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So that's on my agenda for this evening. Tomorrow night, and I think this is going to interest you, Sin, Mystery Movie Night at the Regal.
Oh, yes. I've got my ticket. I'm going.
And
I'm going to multiple movies this week.
So what movie do you think that's going to be? Because my first guess is I think it's going to be Iron Claw.
Oh,
I think it's going to be that or Silent Night. But I'm going with Iron Claw right now.
It's not. I don't think it's going to be Silent Night. It's too close to release time. I wish, but I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah,
because Silent Night is. I actually thought Silent Night was coming out last week, and I bought movie tickets because they're already on sale. And my brother and I were about to head to the theater to go see it, and I saw the date. Oh no! It says November 30th. This isn't right. Shoot. So I don't think it's going to be that. Would be awesome, but it's too soon. It's too close. Iron Claw, I don't know what the release date on Iron Claw is. I honestly haven't speculated as to what it's going to be.
The 15th.
The 15th. I could see that as a potential because that's a couple weeks away. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to see that. And then on Thursday, I'm going to see The Shift by Angel Studios. And then I'm going to see the next day Godzilla -1. And then at some point around that time, I definitely want to go see Silent Night because I want to do a review for it. So I've got a busy movie watching week in addition to the screeners I need to watch, in addition to The Last Unicorn that I need to watch for a stream I'm doing Wednesday with Sound Booth Theater. So it's getting a little stressful, all these movies I have to watch.
Yeah,
I love it, but it's like I still have my day job and all the work that comes with that, so I have to definitely organize my day.
Yeah. I got The Last Voyage of the Demeter I need to get around to for a thing I'm doing with Belle. And we've got another movie lined up that we're going to do a kind of a deep dive and watch party discussion on, kind of similar to this. So I'm definitely going to be busy too. And all right, and also, and after Monday night, I also have my other show, which is live from Sparkwood 21, which is a retrospective of Twin Peaks, and we're doing episode 6.
That's right. Right.
Troy and Ed are an age boomer, and myself. So yeah,
you're busy too. Busy.
Right. And Wonka is coming out 2 weeks.
I hope it's not Wonka. If it's Wonka, I actually might leave. I have zero interest in Wonka.
I don't think it's gonna be Wonka because
feels like that's too big for it to be.
And I think the movie is supposed to be rated R, and Wonka is probably going to be PG. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely either rated R or PG-13 because it's a 7:00 showtime.
Yeah.
So, well, we will know this time tomorrow. We will know.
We will know, and when the movie is done, we will. There will be a review, or at least I'm going to be doing an out of the theater review, or I might wait till I get home. But it will be sometime in the next 26 or 27 hours. You're going to be getting a review from me. I'm going to be jumping ahead probably because I have a few other movies that I've seen that I haven't reviewed yet. I still haven't reviewed The Killer. I've got Naiad to do and Sympathy for the Devil as well. So.
I haven't seen Naiad yet. That was sent to me recently. I also had Fair Play that was sent to me, and I would like to see Sympathy for the Devil. That actually looks really good. So many movies, so little time.
So little time.
Gosh. No, I haven't seen Wish. I have not seen Wish. I wasn't interested, to be honest.
I will not be reviewing Wish on my channel.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of interest in animated films unless it's like maybe anime. Then maybe but especially like Disney Pixar, their quality's just gone so far down. I'm definitely not watching Aquaman 2. I decided when they refused to get rid of Amber Heard, I was not going to watch it. So, but I'm curious to see what people think about it, and I do already know some major plot points of that movie. So, y'all hold a grudge, writers and editors. So but a lot of movies to watch this coming month, and I'm looking forward to it for sure, and all the discussion that can be had.
Indeed. Alrighty, that about wraps it up. Once again, thank everybody for being here. Hit the like on both of our channels. I'm sure there's a like button or something on Rumble as well. Hit that.
Yes, there is.
Share out the stream. Say hello in the comments. If you've seen the movie, what did you think?
Yes, please let us know.
Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you have issues with it that were different than ours? Or if you think we're off base, let us know.
Please do.
Okay. All right. So, from HQ and all points, north, south, east, and west, good night. Take care. Stay strong, because this is how we win.